So I know I'm not really wearing any makeup today, but I had class at 8:30 this morning, and that is really early for a college student, and this was all the effort I could put into it. If you're subscribed to my channel or you watch my other videos, you know that I wear makeup frequently. If this is your first video watching and you're like, okay, like, how do I know she has the skills to like make a formed opinion about this? Just go look at like all my other videos. But it's 3:30 in the afternoon and I don't have the emotional strength or the spare time to just put on more makeup just for the sake of making this video. That's the tea. So today I'm going to be talking about the Morphe 35K palette. If you are new to my channel, then you may not know I am a fan of the Morphe palettes. This is my fourth palette and I clearly like them if I own 4 of them. I did purchase all of them on my own. I am not affiliated with the company at all whatsoever. All opinions are my own. Just wanted to get that out of the way. This palette is available on their website, morphebrushes.com. I will put a link below, and it is currently $22.99. And it comes with 35 colors, hence the name 35K. 35, the K is for coffee, coffee with a K. Don't ask me, I didn't name it. This is what the palette looks like when you open it. As you can see, these are pretty decently sized pans. So just in size of the pans, here is a ColourPop eyeshadow right next to it, so you can kind of compare. Obviously, the ColourPop one is a bit larger. So the packaging is just this nice plastic black packaging. It isn't like super matte, but it is kind of satiny, and it does pick up fingerprints pretty well. You can't really get them off, if we're being honest, unless you like clean it down with alcohol, which I don't have enough dedication to do that. But on the front it just says Morphe. Their older ones say Morphe brushes, but some of the newer ones I'm assuming just say Morphe because this one is a bit newer. On the back it's just plain black, and then it has a little sticker on the bottom that says 35K so that you can differentiate them in your drawers or your kit. This palette does have a slight scent. It's kind of just like plasticky chemicals, but it's not that fragrant. It's just a little something to mention, and once you put the shadows on your eyes, you can't smell them. The shadows are super smooth, buttery, pigmentation is great on nearly all of them, and that's something that's kind of hard to come by, especially on a palette that is this well priced. You're paying less than $1 per eyeshadow, and that is a pretty good deal. Every shadow in here that I've used, and I've used the majority of them, is really easy to work with, which is something that can kind of be difficult to find in these larger palettes from places like Morphe or Coastal Scents or BH Cosmetics. So the shadow quality I do feel is a little bit better than their normal or older palettes that have the Morphe brushes printed on the front. I'm not sure if the newer ones that are printed, like the 35W, or I think it's the 35B, the colorful one that I have, I'm not sure if you buy those now, if they're this different formula or if they're the same, but I do feel like these are just slightly more pigmented and slightly more buttery, and I know that word is so overused, but they are super smooth and soft shadows. The palette comes with a variety of finishes. It has some satins, mattes, and shimmers. All of these formulas are amazing, but I do want to talk about them individually and show you a little bit of them swatched right here on my fingers. That's what that was supposed to be. The shimmers are spectacular. These shimmers are just great. They have a beautiful reflect, they have beautiful pigmentation, and they're just, So I'm just going to swatch a few on my fingers. So there on my hand you can see how metallic and reflective these are. And then just swipe down like that and you can see that these have a really great amount of reflection. They're also really soft and easy to blend, which is also something that I think is important. So you can see that I've kind of blended these out. Even when they're blended out, they still retain that really nice metallic finish. The satin shades I feel like are much better in this palette than they were in some of my older ones. In this one I feel like they have a lot more pigmentation and they're not as hard. So I'm just gonna swatch a few of these. So these are what the satin ones look like. You can tell that they do have a slight reflection, but they are a lot less shimmery. And then swatched. You can see those right there. This middle one does look a little bit more matte than it does in person. It does have some really light purple reflex in it, but there you can definitely see the pigmentation and the finish of those shades. So the older matte shadows, I feel like were kind of hit or miss. Some of them were really pigmented, super easy to work with, blendable, and then some of them were stiff, like I said about the satin ones. They were stiff, they didn't have a great pigmentation, and they were just kind of lackluster. I feel like they really stepped up their game on that formula because almost all of these mattes in this palette are wonderful. They're all highly pigmented and easy to blend out, and I feel like it's a big step up from their older ones. I'm just going to pick some of these to show you. Wow, that's nice. That's some good stuff right there. And look how easy they just like fan out. So the shade selection, as you can see, I think is really fantastic for a palette. You've got your cool browns, your warm browns, neutral browns, you've got champagne shades, golds, bronzes, just straight up chocolate browns, more burgundy shades, and then of course you have all these blacks, grays, and charcoals leaning all the way up to kind of bluish silvers. Bluey? It's a terrible word, bluey. A lot of these browns kind of look similar, but as you'll see in the swatches I'm going to show you in a bit, they all do kind of serve a different purpose. One of them is more cool, one of them is more warm toned, one of them is more neutral, although from here it kind of does look like it's a lot of like the same stuff. So I wanted to go row by row and just talk about the general components of the row, not necessarily every single shade because there are 35 colors in here and that would take a while. The first row is full of those nice light transition shades as well as colors that are super shimmery and perfect for the lid. The second row kind of contains some medium browns as well as some more red and burgundy tone shadows. The next row leans a little bit more cool and neutral in the browns and then also has some more really shimmery high impact colors. The fourth row down has some really nice icy blue shades, and then it also has some of those nice taupe shades as well as some really dark matte browns. And the last row features entirely like grays and blacks, and there's a ton of variety. There's some matte, satins, and shimmers, so basically satiates every need you could possibly have. Overall, I would give this palette like a 9 out of 10, and I would recommend it to basically everyone out there. If you love eyeshadow, if you're trying to round out a collection, if you're a working makeup artist, or maybe just somebody who, you know, likes to make YouTube videos in your free time, it's definitely worth the money and it is a high quality, and that is how I feel about it. So that is all I have to say. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, feel free to leave them down below. If you like this video, then be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. There's a link to do so on the screen, as well as links to all my social media accounts, and that stuff is also down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.